started, just some light housekeeping. We asked you to take lots of pictures tonight. And if you could all text them to Crystal Rodriguez. Crystal's number is posted on the wall back there by the photo booth area. So, I'm serious, guys. So take her number down, send her all your photos. Doesn't matter for this event, just send her all your photos. Or text her late at night, call her, she would love it. So I'm just saying, you have her number, so you can do what you want with it now. Also, the bathrooms are, you go down the hallway to the right, and ironically enough, my number is on the walls in the bathroom, but that's just for their time. Okay, let's get this party started, everybody. So, wow, everybody's here. Look at this. I see so many Planet Fitness members here. This is amazing. I mean, are any of you actually YMCA members? This is awesome. You know, recently I heard the Dyslexic Association stopped having their meetings at the YMCA. And the reason was because all the members kept showing up at Macy's. Little corny joke, I'll get going here. And this is actually surprising for a YMCA event because the sound system and the projector are actually working. Cheers to that. So good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Johnson. I'll be the roast master this evening. For those of you who don't know me, you're not missing much. I've been involved in the Lakewood and Jamestown YMCAs for over 15 years doing a variety of things, including tennis instruction, tennis stringing, event coordination, and just moral support. I also enjoy long walks on the beach, and my star sign is Leo, so ladies, hit me up. Now it's time to get to the man of the hour. And I mean hour, because I got plans later tonight, so let's keep this moving, guys. Okay, so Tom Anderson, everybody. Tom, there you go. We're talking about you now. I talked to the family, you're doing well. You're good. Now, when Scott called me and asked me to be the roast master for Tom's retirement party, I was a little confused because honestly, I thought Tom retired 10 years ago. I mean, Tom, the FedEx delivery driver spends more time in the line than you do. Also, isn't this like the third ceremony we've had for you, Tom? He finally took the hint, guys. Tom has his own unique way of doing things, as you all know. From the exotic sounds, the unorthodox attire. This is a true story. I once saw an older gentleman attempt to give Tom a pair of shoes outside the lights. He thought Tom was homeless. True story. But Tom, at least you've always had a way with words. I would list you as one of the great warriors of our time. I mean, who else could say things like fire it up, Texas back baby, and made up words like shimmin' now now? It's so eloquent. No wonder people keep coming back for more. The only thing worse than the cell phone service in Hawaii is your customer service. I was told to share a personal story about Tom, and I have so many, it was so difficult to choose just one. I mean, Tom is the reason there are instructions on shampoo bottles, so there's just so much material. Ooh. One day, Tom wanted to head down to Warren to see a motivational speaker at the Best Western. It was the middle of the workday, of course. I find that funny. And nothing says positive motivation like the Best Western at Warren. Again, I find that funny. Anyways, Tom drove me down there, of course, texting and driving and eating while driving, doing everything possible while driving. And we stayed for about an hour, and then Tom gets up to leave. Obviously, the speaker wasn't that motivational, if he couldn't even make it to the speech. So, on the way back, Tom wanted to stop at Panera for lunch, and while Tom opened up to me, he told me this story about helping clear trees for the construction of the Billie Jean King Tennis Center, which eventually became the Lakewood YMCA. And his first job there was in the 70s as a janitor in that same facility. It was a great history lesson. It was fascinating to hear how Tom has been involved with that building from the start. It really made me see how much Tom cares. Now, Tom, I'm making some jokes at your expense, and it's not just because you're an easy target, you know, because you can't run. But in all seriousness, in the words of Comedy Central roast master General Jeff Ross, I only roast the ones I love. And Tom, your mentorship and friendship over the years is something that I really appreciate. The Lakewood Y would not exist without you today, and the local community owes you a debt of gratitude for that. I can't even imagine Lakewood Y without you involved in it. Thank you for all that you've done for me and all that you've done for my hometown. You've had a profound impact on my life, and I hope that you can enjoy your retirement. But something tells me that you'll still find a way to insert yourself. Event Brothers. You know what, Tom, at Mark's retirement party, we cut his tie. For yours, we're all going to get together, and we're going to help you tie your shoes. Also, Tom, keep in mind that at the end of the evening, you'll have a chance to respond to everyone, so I'm looking forward to you making a little fun of me and everyone else. So now to get things started, our first presenter of the evening comes from the YMCA board, a proud supporter of the Y and a so-so pickleball player, Bob Gould.
Good evening, and first of all, thank you, Mike, Scott, Lisa, Crystal, everyone who put this together. Just to look out and see this many people that love Tom and want to support him. So thank you to you guys for putting this together. It's a wonderful event. I'm going to take you back to 1977. Some of us were around. I was at Brockport, and the skinny little kid from Southwestern shows up. He starts to play in the gym, little basketball here, and I wasn't sure who he was. We were not in the same circles. He was a tennis player, I was a rugby player. But I couldn't figure out, whenever we played 3-on-3 or even our intramurals, he had the weirdest shot. I said, "Are you left-handed?" "No, I'm right-handed." And if anybody who's played basketball with Tom, you've ever seen him shoot, I can't explain it, but it's one of the weirdest shots. But it's good. He was good. And he was a good tennis player. And I really didn't see much. I graduated and Tom stayed there and he played sports and things. And I know he really loved athletics. And he has two unbelievable stories that really show what an athlete he was. Well, he was a tennis player at Brockport. He came home for the Billie Jean, whatever they called that tournament. It was like, used to be the city, but it was like the Western New York. And Tom sees the pairings and he says, "I got a good first round." And sure enough, he beat the guy pretty handily. And then they said, "Well, now you got to play this kid." And I think Tom thought, "Kid?" He gets on the court, he plays an 11-year-old. 11 years old. Now Tom's a college player. The kid beat him 6-0, 6-1. Just so happened a few years later he was number 5 in the world. It was Jimmy Arias. But he does have one other thing that really puts him up here in the sports world. His biggest claim to fame is that Brockport, a new coach came in just as I was graduating and Tom was there, by the name of Bill Van Gundy. He had 2 sons, Jeff and Stan Van Gundy, both who went on to become professional basketball coaches. And they were decent players. But if you ask Tom to this day, he'll say his greatest achievement on the basketball court was beating Stan Van Gundy on 1-on-1 many times in the Brockport gym. So congratulations, Tom. Over the years. I graduated 77, 78, whatever year it was. Tom goes on. I don't see Tom for years. And then I'm involved in Special Olympics and we're ordering t-shirts for our big events. We need to get 1,200 t-shirts. And Tom was working at the jock shop with Bob Schmidt, I believe. And they said, well, I said, "I need them on Tuesday." This is like on the week before. "We'll have it ready for you Monday." I get the call Saturday and he said, "Get here early Monday, we'll have them." I show up Monday, before I went to school, no shirts. After school, no shirts. Come early Tuesday morning. I said, "I got to pass them out to 600 kids." So I get there like 7:15 before I was on my way to school. And here comes the guy to open the door. And the person with me was helping me said, "Is he from Night of the Living Dead?" It was Tom. He'd been in the jock shop all night, printing t-shirts for our event. He was there literally from whatever time he started till 7 o'clock that morning, and he had our 660 t-shirts ready to go. And from that day on, the one word that sits with me with Tom is relentless. I think we all know that, even trying to sit down and talk to him. He's relentless. He's relentless. He doesn't stop talking. But just think about some of the things that he's done. all the running events. The article in the paper the other day was awesome about the number of things he's done. So I'd like to get serious right now. Tom's application went into the Hall of Fame, Chautauqua County Sports Hall of Fame, in 2014. It's still sitting there, turning around. It needs to have support. We filled it in with some articles and things, but if everybody who's ever been touched by Tom would just write a letter of recommendation or letter of support, I believe that Tom will make it into the Chautauqua County Sports Hall of Fame, which he deserves. So if we could all just think about that tonight, it doesn't have to be tomorrow, it can anytime, but if you could get those written up, get them to the Y, and I'll get them to the Hall of Fame, I think that would be a great thing to do for Tom. And as far as relentless, just think about everything he's done through the battle of business, all the races he's done, his overcoming not one stroke, but 2 strokes. It's that inner relentlessness that Tom has brought to his life, and hopefully has come off to some of us that have known him. And one thing, please, yes. And in my closing, the relentlessness has come back, because a couple of years ago, as Tom was working his way through recovery from the stroke, he lost his voice. He didn't really want to talk that much. But boy, through his relentlessness, he can talk. And Tom, I'm going to miss coming to the Y 3-4 times a week and just sitting in there and talking about different things. Mostly he's in there talking, used to be in there talking mostly bad about Mark Eckendorf, but well, sorry Mark, you here? Hey, you know what, you want to fire him, go ahead. But Tom, I'm going to miss just getting up there and sitting with you and just having a good chat about the Browns and different things. So thanks for being a good friend, and thanks for all you've done. Thank you very much. I have official business here, sorry. Official business. This is from the board, the Y board and trustees. Tom, we have a gift for you.
Well, he's coming over here for Okay, thank you so much, Bob. They're going to grab a quick photo here. Let's see who's next on the schedule. Bob, that was a great speech. Now, Tom, as you know, is very involved in T-shirts, so I'm sure by the end of the night, Tom will have T-shirts to sell all of you. So just be ready for that. You have lots of colors. You can wear them once, and then they'll go through the wash, and they don't fit anymore. But that's how the right shirts work. Okay, so next up from the Post-Journal, the sports editor, you all know Scott Kinberg.
Well, I've known Tom, I was thinking the other day, probably 50 years. And it's because of our dads. They were classmates at Jamestown High School. I believe it was class of 1950. And there were several other guys who were part of their clique of friends, and they were known as the A's. There was another Anderson. There was 2 Alessis, a Brady and a Cass, and of course my dad, Gunnar Kinky Kinberg. And the friendships stood the test of time. Fast forward to the early 70s, and as I recall, the A's had a reunion of some sort, I believe at Tom's house in Lakewood. And it was there that I first became aware of how Tom liked to organize sporting events. At his direction, we picked up teams and played a game of wiffle ball that lasted the entire afternoon. It was my introduction to Tom's world. Fast forward a couple more decades. Tom's working at the Y, I'm working at the Post-Journal. He's organizing tournaments, road races, charity events, and I'm the guy responsible for making sure our readers are aware of them. There's always been one problem though. Tom never knows anything about newspaper deadlines. Instead of sending an email or placing a call a couple days in advance, he had this habit of contacting me around 11:30 p.m. just as I'm trying to get the newspaper out. When I would ask him when he needed the information published, he'd just say, tomorrow. Then there were the times when he would have results to report. There were always great photos, but the information accompanying them always seemed to be lacking, as if he thought I just telepathically would know what he meant. That would require me to call or text him for more clarification. So with all due respect to our fathers, I'm changing, for tonight only, the name of their group that was forged all those years ago to reflect the grade I would award Tom for his ability to make the media's job easier. I'm changing it from an A to an F. Fortunately for him, because of the amount of extra credit he's done at the YMCA and the community over the course of the last 34 years, he still graduates into retirement summa cum laude. Nobody has done it better. The A's would be proud of you, Tom. I know I am. Thanks for your friendship. Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you so much, Scott. So Scott, come over here. You're going to get a photo of Tom. Yeah. Apparently we're moving Tom for every photo. We get some of his exercise in for the day, so walk from here to there. It's just don't mind it. Also, by the way, we've all been entered into a 5K we're doing later. We start on 4th Street, go down, make a left on Lafayette, left on 3rd, all the way down, okay? Okay, next up we have Tom Priester and Kelly King Work, YMCA run starter and finish judge at the Indian King 5K and Indian King Run 5K supporter. So you guys come on up for your time to talk. I got 2 microphones here. We'll see. This one's a lot louder than this one. Who talks louder?
Priester doesn't get the microphone.
I'm definitely the loudest. First, I just want to thank Tom, too. Tom was a student of mine. He probably regretted almost every minute of it. But that's not why I'm here, Tom. It's because of all you've done for the community, not just the Y. And I have a little few things to tell you about your next career. As soon as Kelly has given you the third phase.
I don't even know where to begin. I mean, there wouldn't be an Amy's Run without this man. And we've been doing it for 22 years. And it's just been a really great way to, you know, for my family, just everything, in all aspects. We've raised a lot of money for the Y, we've raised a lot of money for a lot of little kids. A lot of good things have been done with it, and I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know who's going to take the reins, but I don't know what we're going to do without him, and we're going to miss him, and there's nobody like him. That's all I have to say.
Good enough. All right, Tom. You know how you always tell everybody at the start of Amy's Run that you only hire me because I'm the only guy that you know that has a starter's pistol. Well, first of all, I worked this meet for 21 of the 22 years, and I haven't been paid yet. So it's hiring jazz. Well, how about throwing in a red shirt from this year, and we'll call it even, okay?
Excuse me, pardon me, I have a special delivery for a Tom.
Let me tell you, after that one, I might as well just go take my seat. We have heard by the rumor mill that you are going to start into the track officiating business to raise money for the Tom and Judy Anderson Retirement Fund. Well, I'd like you to know that to do that, in Pennsylvania, you don't need a license, okay? You don't have to be certified, but you do need a business card. So Kelly has this business card that says, Tom Anderson, have gun, will travel, just like that. And that's an old one for many old people. Since you're in Pennsylvania, you won't need to be certified. So we are taking care of that. You need a gun. So the first thing we bought you is a gun. Your own gun. And it even has 144 bullets, so you're stacked up for a while. Now we're on a limited budget here, as you can tell. Be wise for you to purchase a battery-operated printer stopwatch. It only costs a couple $100. They're great at the finish line in your 5K, so all you gotta do is just keep punching the button. This way you'll be able to record all the times and finish. Now, since these printers are so expensive, we brought you the paper. You're gonna have to buy the stopwatch. We've got enough printer paper to last you a long time. Now, all good officials have to have a backup, Tom, so don't forget that. So we brought you this handheld one. Well, I just want you to know there's no battery in it because we couldn't get the cover off. The batteries are only $69.95 at Amazon. Now, all good starters have to have a whistle to notify the finish line that you as the starter are ready to start the race. We have a brand new chrome whistle. But the only problem there is we don't know, it doesn't have a lanyard, and we don't know how to put the lanyard on there, so that's up to your ingenuity. When you run a finish line at the 5 or 10K, you have to record all the names of the finishers that you always give me to read. All right? So we have, in high school, when they finish these races, we hand out a tongue depressor with the number of the place you finish. Well, with this budget, we can only come up with 20. You're going to have to buy the other 200 or 300 and write down the numbers on those. Now, when you get assigned at a high school track meet, you might have to run a field event like a shot and discus. Okay? All good officials do more than just run the finish line. You have to inspect the shot or disc, make sure it meets all the requirements. So we got a nice pen for you to write on there your initials and make a red dot so it makes it legal. However, this pen's about 15 years old, so you'll have to dip it in water to make sure that the red comes out. Here again, we're on that limited budget. In the mile and 2 mile, when the lead runner crosses the finish line, you have to, as a track official, fire the gun for the last lap. Well, we don't want you to spend all your money on shells. So we have a cowbell here that you can lease from the Southwestern New York track officials at a real cheap price so that you can do that. It has our logo on it, so you can't keep it because you're in Pennsylvania. So now that you have everything in your ownership to start your new business, we want to thank you for all you've done, Tom. God bless and good luck.
Thank you so much, Tom and Kelly, for all the props and everything there. The thing is, though, you gave Tom all that stuff. He's already lost the gun. So, okay, we're going to get a photo with Tom here. Next up, from the Jamestown YMCA, we have John Barber and Rhonda McGlory. So guys, come on up here. Where's John? There he is, he's all in the back. You sit at the bar before he came up.
I just started actually after 15 years of working with Tom. I've been supervising him actually very closely for the last 3 months. I think I've only almost fired you a couple times probably.
You've only seen him like twice.
So the inspiration, Tom, we have a poem for you today, and it's It's inspired by a famous poem, Casey at the Bat. And the reason why I thought of it, I think, is, the poem, of course, tells a story of a team that's down, losing. Everybody's hoping maybe they could win. Maybe if this guy gets to bat, they'll do it. And then they lose. And so naturally, as a Browns fan, this makes sense. So this is a poem called Tommy at the Y. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Jamestown Y that year. It lacked the spark of genius from a real pain in the rear.
Then suddenly, a tennis star brought a future filled with fun. For that's the time the man emerged named Tommy Anderson. A struggling few still thought the Y should never change. The rest clung to a hope that springs eternal when Ys are in a test.
He thought if only Tommy came, he'd make the future fly. They put all, well, some of their hopes on Tommy at the Y. Betwixt those days and years, with many special deeds now done, we can look back upon an era thankful for we won.
A prize in shining gray hair and an understated grace, he now hands off the baton for another now to race. Connie preceded Tommy, as also Marky E. The former was an angel, and the latter charged a fee?
So upon this stricken multitude, grim another change goes by. We think now of the myth, the legend, Tommy at the Y. With all he's done, we ask ourselves, what now will Tom not do? So now we ask you join us as we list these things to you.
He won't plan any budgets, and he won't look at the charts, but he'll probably look to move around riding in golf carts. There'll be no Tommy at the battle to judge the talent show. That doesn't really change much, just ask us for we well know.
The music starts, the ringing song, but how he picks who won, it's still unclear. He left the stage talking with someone. He won't drink Coca-Cola, Tom is a Pepsi guy. The fridge once stocked now empty, at the Lake of Y.
He won't chase after sponsorships from everyone around. He might be missed by friends whom he would constantly so hound. He won't listen to the experts who know how the Y should run. Honestly, he just pretended until the meeting was done. You all are safe from calls from Tom seeking a volunteer. Many only said yes to get his voice out of their ear.
The Y will miss the greatest tennis player. Oh, it's true. If you doubt my statement, just ask Tom and he'll tell you. The Y will change with Tommy gone, but who will fill his role right now? He'll rile up the Y kids. Shimmy, shimmy, now, now.
Oh, somewhere in this favored Y, the sun is shining bright.
A ball is bouncing somewhere, and somewhere hearts are light.
And somewhere men are laughing.
And somewhere children shout.
But there's less joy in Wyville.
Mighty Tommy's punching out.
Hello, you guys. That was a very nice.
So I'm supposed to also... Tom, we're giving you, well, it's kind of funny because we don't have anything to give you, but we are giving you a lifetime membership at the YMCA.
Just for one. That was an awesome poem, guys. Thank you so much, Rhonda and John. Okay, let's do a limerick. There once was a girl from Nantucket. That's as far as I'll go. Okay, next up we have the tennis pros. We have Matt Johnson, James Pizzato, with special guest Ann Smith. I always liked tennis. It was the only place I could find love. Oh, two people got that, but that's okay. Well, we can't talk about Tom without talking about tennis.
From his days playing in tournaments with his iconic attire, denim shorts with a plain white t-shirt, and unique facial expressions that give tongue-in-cheek a more literal meaning.
To his years organizing celebrity exhibitions with Jimmy Arias, where he did not pass up on the opportunity to rally cross-court forehands to forehands with Grand Island native.
Tom's passion for the sport made us all welcome him. Made us all welcome him at the Y, and he brought kept indoor tennis at the front.
Throughout his years as branch manager, Tom has used tennis to positively impact the community, creating memorable experiences in his own unique way.
One of those unique ways is a story that I had when I was working for him. I used to do some tennis, obviously, and we did summer camps, and summer camps was always a hit. Well, one year, Tom had this crazy idea. I know. And we ended up going to Toronto. Yeah, so we took about 12 kids between the ages of 13 and 16 across the, Canadian border. And as we ended up going up there, I was a little nervous on how it was going to go. And, well, we got through the border, and obviously the Canadian Police Department wanted to know what was going on, customs and all that stuff, and took Tom aside, questioning him, what are you doing with all these kids in a Lakewood YMCA van? Kind of crazy. So anyway, as he was going, we were trying to prep the kids, like, okay kids, remember now, if they ask you a question, you know where you're from, okay, don't, those things. And I could hear someone say, well, we could get Tom in some big trouble right now if we just say, we don't know this guy. And we can never see him again. Anyway, we ended up getting there, and it was good. It was a great story. Thanks, Tom.
Okay, what did you get so long? I used to teach these guys when they were much little. Oh, Tom, I don't leave 80-degree weather for just anybody. So, we're special. Flew into Buffalo today, it was 37 in gray. Anyway, I've known Tom for 50 years. Back when I was a rookie teacher, and I was just starting out, he was in my class, my English class, and he was my first #1 singles player on the Southwestern tennis team. And as many of you know, Tom is kind of a wise guy, and he's always been a wise guy, even when he was young. And he had a buddy named Tom Bunce, and the two of them were quite characters. And they had this thing going, they would question calls on court, and they would question them by saying, "What?" Okay, so that became kind of a catchword for the team for the rest of the season, said it a lot. Well, during that time, and this is back in the 70s, the team, professional team tennis was just beginning. The Philadelphia Freedoms, led by Billie Jean King, were coming to the Odd in Buffalo to play a match. And they sent out free tickets to many of the area tennis teams. So I got my bunch of tickets. I said, yes, I can get permission to drive a little school bus with my team up to the Buffalo Auditorium on a Friday night. So that's what we did. We got up to the Odd, and I had 8 kids with me. And we got up there, and we had our free tickets. And of course, they were way, way up high in the auditorium. And we looked down, and there's this little tiny court surrounded by curtains, and people were playing down there. I told my team, okay, just sit here, be good, enjoy the match, do what you're supposed to do, no problem. And we're watching the match, and then I turned to my right, and the 2 Toms had disappeared. And I'm a new teacher. And I'm like, oh boy, where did they go? I've lost the kids in Buffalo. Okay. And pretty soon, I hear from the other side of the auditorium, I hear, what? Okay, they're over there. All right, that's good. So I'll wait a little bit, and they're down at the other end of the auditorium, and I hear, what? Okay, they're still here in the building, that's good. Next thing I know, they're down on the floor, behind the court, behind the curtains, and they're snagging tennis balls from the team matches. And I'm going, what? And I think, I'm going to be in such trouble. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to lose my job. I'm going to lose these kids. So after a while, they did reappear back up in the top of the odd. They were grinning. They weren't too upset. I was a little steamed. But they had 2 tennis balls from Wendy Overton, who was a star at the time. And they were so proud to snag these tennis balls, stolen these tennis balls from the odd. Anyway, that's the story, Tom. And I'm saying to you, Tom Anderson, I got a call from Scott. Tom Anderson's retiring. And I go, what? How can that be? How can that be? Good job, Tom.
Summer tennis camp. We always had a great, memorable experience with that. But Tom always found a way to put a spin on it. With some irrelevant games where we couldn't comprehend why we were doing them in tennis camp, but we did them anyways. Some of those activities would be from like primetime televised game shows. I think he was watching, late at night or something. But one of them was Shake Your Moneymaker. So we had to gyrate. I put a tissue box back attached to our waist and gyrate our hips in a haphazard fashion to try to get the ball to go out. So that was an interesting one that we did. The next one wouldn't even be on the tennis courts. We'd go to the gymnastics room and we'd be hurtling over foam balls and pits. The blocks would get so high it wouldn't be worth jumping over. We'd just run straight through it. So that was another competition we had. So some parents in the audience are probably thinking, I paid for this? Like, what was going on here? What was the point? But that's what made summer camp, all these unique things that he did. And he would cap the day off with some tennis events, but his signature games were rapid fire, where the pro would feed a barrage of tennis balls pretty recklessly at the players there. So trying to dodge them just out of self-defense, self-preservation. The next one would be the wall, where you, off through consecutive wins, build a group. And we'd always remember Tom charging the net and his battle cry running forward to the net there. So I had so much fun with that. But from all this tomfoolery, one thing stands out that I wondered why the parents didn't sign a release form for this. So that was the thing. But good thinking, Tom, that we did finally put that in place. And Tom's been on tennis camp and made it the most memorable thing. And we enjoyed it so much for him. So thank you, Tom, for everything.
Tom, I just want to quickly thank you. Thank you for what you did for my family. Yeah, you helped my kids. I think my whole family worked at the Y at some point. So you've instilled some great things into my son and my 2 daughters, and to this day, I think you got me the job at Cruiseburg from what you did for me. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, no, you did that.
Okay, Tom. Walmart bag, 5 cents. I don't know how many of you know that Tom's nickname when he was a kid in high school was Hound. Okay. Part of this was due to his facial expressions, and part of it applied to how he doggedly wore his opponents down. Okay? Back then, I didn't realize that this kid, this hound, would be around the rest of my life. And he would hound me to play in the Y's family golf tournament every summer, okay? To take part in the Jimmy Arias clinics, to buy a chair for Len's Loft. That was an expensive one. Okay? And if I had any inclination to run, I'd be in the Amy King's fight. But we're not running. Anyway, kidding aside, here's to Tom Hound Anderson for making things happen. Thank you.
We appreciate it, and I know you will be no stranger to it with the camera system, if we can get it operating and everything, to the functionality. So, thank you.
Get you guys over here for a nice group photo. And everybody, I told Matthew I was wearing purple, but he shows up purple. I mean, what? I mean,
I'm just a decoy for any of you that want to take it.
yeah. Yeah, hold on. Purple's my thing. I'm just saying. Okay, next up we have a special video presentation that actually just came through this morning, so let me get that going here on Scott's laptop. Bear with me here one second. Okay, so our next presenter is all the way from Sarasota, Florida. Unlike Ian Smith, he did not want to come up here for this. He likes Tom, but not that much. So next up is Mark Mackler, and then he'll tell you a little bit about himself here.
From Sarasota, my name is Mark Mackler. I work in pro tennis. I'm the agent for our events owned junior areas, and most importantly, hail from Wellsville, so I understand how difficult it is to maintain and grow a tennis program in Western New York. When I got the call from Mike that we were honoring someone who was giving their life to tennis in our area, countless lessons, is the face of the sport locally, I said, it's about time that we honor Matt Johnson. He's so It's about time that we honor Tom Anderson. I love Tom because only a big brother could get away with introducing me to people as he's just the agent, or he's not the talent we come to town with Jimmy. So I let Jimmy know that we were honoring me, Tom, and he said, Tom, who? Looks like tennis is complicated. Still nothing. You know the guy who, despite the strokes, that he can still kick your ass in pickleball, Jimmy. Jimmy says his best. It's obviously been a tough week with the loss of the voluntary, but I know he'll be reaching out to you as well. Tom, on a serious note, you've become an amazing friend over the years, a true inspiration for anyone there tonight and across the Southern Tier. You are truly, truly irreplaceable. I know that many of the kids that you've taught over the years that have become successful professionals can look back and are now able to see how much of your life you gave to them, to the community, through your fundraising and your teaching. You are inspirational, you are loyal, and now that you are wrapping things up, you'll have time to spend with that great family, and I know you're so proud of them. Look forward to the opportunity to connect, whether it's in Florida, Washington, pro tennis event, really anywhere but around team. So I love you, buddy. Congratulations on your many successes, and can't wait to share this retirement with you at some point soon. Take care.
Thank you very much for that. Really nice to do that for us. Let's get this photo up here. Okay, so next up we have some more Jamestown YMCA alumni. We have John O'Brien and Mark Eckendorf. So you know it's going to be a partner. That sounds good. They both work. Okay, knock them dead, Mark.
All right. Sure. I'm really puzzled because I thought I fired Tom 10 years ago. So Bob, I'm agreeing with you on that. So I hired Tom, 1988 I think it was, and we had gotten to know each other playing tennis, playing ping pong, basketball, and I heard that about that funky shot that he had, but the hound part of it is, if you guarded Tom, you were going to be tired, because he never stopped. I mean, there was going to be a price to pay, and he always ended up with 20, 30 points. And for a guy that never leaves the ground, and he fake people, but I didn't want to guard him, even though he's not all that fast or anything, but you just knew you were going to keep running the whole thing, and it was going to be a price to pay. But we had a lot in common. We bonded over those Super Bowl years with the Browns. And, oh, wait a minute on that one. Must have been the Indians' World Series years. But the Cavs, the Cavs did. And if you get a copy of his video doing his victory dance, throw it away, delete it. But 1 out of 3 isn't too bad. Bobby, we talked about meeting him in the morning, the job shop, or whoever it was. Oh, Bob. A secret that the staff knows is Tom doesn't sleep. Okay, John O'Brien doesn't sleep either, but it's a different reason at the camp. He's always sneaking up on the kids. I found out the hard way, and the staff finds out because he'll text them or call them late at night, and they come in the next morning and they're all tired or they're late. Just, oh, go ahead, go home, take another couple hours if you need it. We understood. Everybody on staff understood that. But early on, took Tom to I don't know what the conference was, an executive conference, and we shared a room. I thought this is a good chance to get to know each other. And I go to bed, normal time, 10 o'clock or something like that. Tom says, I'm just going to stay up a little bit later. Finishes watching the show, it's 11 o'clock. I think I'll watch the news. All right, 11:30, I can live with that. 11:30 comes up, and I don't know who it was in those days. Dave Letterman, he remembers it. So that's on for an hour. You know, I'm getting disturbed by this point. I thought, okay, that's over. And then that's when he started bringing somebody after. I'm Snyder's. Okay? The guy does not sleep. I get up the next morning and I'm really tired. I go to the thing and he shows up too. I don't know how he made it, but I had breakfast and went back to the hotel room to go to bed. But he literally does not sleep. Oh, I remember now. He finally went to sleep. Back in those days, when the last show came on, they brought up the American flag and they played Star Spangled Banner. Finally, because then they showed all this junk on the screen and you can't even watch that. Finally, he went to bed. The other thing, and obviously over all these years, I have stories and all kinds of things that I don't have time for. Scott would be jumping all over me. But one thing is more modern, and Tom, everythly's in his head. And that's going to be a problem for whoever follows him because he's not well versed in computers. He uses them, but kicking and dragging into computers and stuff like that. But Zoom, maybe Judy, keep him off of Zoom, okay? I think he had trouble understanding the concept that, you know, you can see yourself when you're on this screen. And I think he thought he was looking into a mirror because he's cleaning out his ears and trimming his nose hairs, and the staff is, they're like, somebody needs to tell Tom that we can see him. One of those guys had a face, Conan O'Brien, is that a guy? He's going to do some kind of radio stuff, and he said because he has a face for radio. You don't have a face for Zoom. Definitely don't have a face for Zoom. Yeah, we've seen all that stuff. We saw you fall asleep. Also, I'd be getting these notes. Tom fell asleep. This is that me. Tom fell asleep. I thought, I'm going to get him, you know. I said, all right, Tom, report on how the battle is. He jumps right up and, like, how did he do that? He was snoring a minute ago. So, he learned that someone must have told him we could see him, because all of a sudden he advanced technology. And now you would see his ceiling or his floor and his couch if he was at home, but you wouldn't have to see him anymore. This is great. This is great. And then, but what he didn't understand is he may have been in the bathroom. The good part was we didn't see him. We didn't see any of the apparatuses that go with it. But Tom, when you're on Zoom, we can also hear you. Toilets make noise. Keep them off of. In all seriousness, I think that the biggest You know, I'm winding it up, Scott, after 1988, within a year, the Lakewood came into being, and I had to make a decision along with the boards. Who are we going to put as the branch manager? And I didn't interview anybody else, I don't believe. And there were some people that questioned that, a couple, and me and Tom had a few bouts with them a few times, but everybody here's story and testament is how I made the right decision on that day, and Tom's been the perfect person to this community. So thank you.
Tom, I just got to say, my wife, Rachel, under the weather tonight, but my wife had experienced a stroke a few years ago, and she and Tom would work with each other through their recoveries while our young daughter played in the stay and play area, the gymnastics room now. Our daughter, 5 years old, is in gymnastics. So there's a lot of stories like that. I'm sure everyone has many stories like that. But some of you might wonder why I don't text. Well, I finally had to turn off my daily notifications from Tom last spring. And come to think of it, I haven't gotten a message from him since June 1st. I wonder why. He's been ghosting me ever since. He must have lost his phone again, just like regularly misplacing his keys. And that was decades ago. Tom and I go way back. He'd run this huge battle of the businesses at camp, and I wouldn't let him bring plastic water bottles. But you can't win a battle with Tom. Well, the national life's now on my side on the issue of single-use plastics. Even today, I bring up the topic, he will abruptly walk away mid-conversation. What's up with that? Similarly, Tom has his own management style. You can go to Harvard Business School and learn management by walking about, Wharton to learn about contingency theory, or study the systems approach at Stanford, but you have to go to Tom to learn about preemptive management. Long ago, long before the Bush Doctrine, Tom's approach was to argue with others before they maybe complained to you. And somehow it worked. Those members were disarmed and often became major donors. I will never figure that out. I complained about some awful merchandise he printed for camp long ago. I wanted a distressed look on my tees, but when he delivered hundreds of printed shirts, the only thing distressed was my face. We figured out, though, I think we invented the reversible tee in the process. We picked on each other and always got along. When I was single, he would try to fix me up with one of the young women at the Y, but unwoke as he was back then, he didn't realize they weren't interested in me. Hey, they were great people, wonderful human beings, but Tom, they weren't interested in men. One was interested in pilfering, though, and Tom and Mark went into the detective business with magic powder that turned fingers purple when touched. They sprinkled on some cash left in the desk to find the culprit, and she was discovered with purple hands the next day, and probably for many days thereafter. These two should start a detective agency for their second careers. Izzy and Mo got nothing on Mark and Tom, private investigators. I kind of stole from Tom once too, running some major event with his frenetic energy. He forgot to eat, so I treated him a chicken sandwich or a hand-built antique bookshelf from his downtown Y office. And as things turned, that shelf is now in Stephanie's office at camp, and I'm based in his old shelfless office in the downtown branch. Anyway, Tom was great with major events, but unbeknownst to anyone, his inspiration was the early Lucy Fest, which used to set up a carnival arcade outside the YMCA on 4th Street. The shooting range was just below my window, and parents interested in sending their kids to camp for a peaceful summer would call me just as those fake guns and sirens went off outside. But even above all of that noise, you could hear Tom on 4th Street yelling, "Lucy!" He was also great one-on-one, and especially as a husband and father. Maybe except for the one time he took his very young sons to Camp Fish for a Y Guys overnighter, and he told Troy that I was going to be his dad for the weekend. Since I was suddenly all alone as a group's leader, after the guy who was supposed to run our trip disappeared with a 12-pack. I think Troy cried up to that weekend. A few years ago, board members from our partner YMCA in Chengdu, China visited. That nation prides itself on its ping pong prowess. Is anyone old enough to remember our rapprochement with China in the early 1970s might remember? During my visits there, kids have gotten a kick out of beating me on their concrete ping pong tables in their schoolyards. But during their delegation's visit here, Tom pulled them out group of 12 Chinese professionals in dresses and suits onto the pickleball court, and let's just say, he redeemed me. Seriously, Tom made sure everything he touched was a center of fun, wellness, and community, especially at the Lakewood White Ranch. He really is the George Bailey of Lakewood. For many years, his hard work helped to finance the entire Y Association's operations, which greatly relieved the financial pressure on NASA's kids programming and my hairline. Back in the crazy days of staff turnover, we used to play a game called Who's Next? Well, Tom, one more time, who's next? I don't want to hear that, especially because now I have to be the oldest, crankiest gadfly of the Y. That's a role I'm willing to accept, but it'll be nearly impossible to match your energy, creativity, and dedication to the building of community that have been at the heart of our YMCA during your long tenure. Thank you, Tom. We'll miss you. And hey, I think I found your phone, but it's turning my fingers purple.
Great job, guys. We got a little something for you there. That's great. Okay, next up, we have Scott Meekus and Marilyn Lehman. So Scott and Marilyn, it's time for you to come out. Got a great speech by Mark and John there. Grab the photos. So anyone find Scott? Excuse me, sir. What do you need? This isn't bingo. This is news to me too, so I don't know what's You could have gone through this door. Scott Meekus, everybody. We're losing the A. Do I just pull it down? Just pull down the A with the ball drop. Woo! Happy New Year! Okay, we go. Maybe you need the walker. I'll turn it over to Scott, or whatever character he's playing today. Or is a speaker.
Time schedule, Scott.
We only have the room till 8:45, so I'm just warning you. We'll be charged about a minute afterwards.
So, we're gathered today to honor Tom Anderson.
He's right there. No. It's not his eulogy. No. Not his eulogy. No.
He's not dead?
No, he's not This is 2042 Battle of Business Captain's Dinner.
Oh my God, I do so many events. I get events confused. I thought Tom died.
2042 Battle Captain's Dinner. Tom's here.
There's a plaque at the Y though.
Yeah, I know. He retired. He's still alive.
Well, welcome teams to the Battle Captain's Dinner tonight. Boy, Marilyn, I feel like I've been doing this for years.
Yeah, you got that right. I've been doing it for a lot of years. Let me just tell you something about that Tom. Gave me a hard time when my team started out. Called us cheaters. Mike had nothing to do with, you know, we had a pharmacist center team one time. What was the big deal?
We were lawyers.
Well, we wanted to compete in the softball. If we didn't have the pharmacist, we would have had a forfeit. Tom hates forfeits. Can't do that. But we did give him greatest miracle on ice since the USA beat Russia in the 1980 Olympics. No greater feat on ice when Jamestown Bar Association beat Matt O'Toole. In Broomwell.
Well, Marilyn, we've been together in battle forever. I'm glad we don't look as old as Tom.
Well, we didn't look as old as Tom back then.
So, you were in charge of team captain for GBA and City Court for
Oh, man.
20-some years?
Well, now it's like 60-something. Somewhere 2042.
Hey, so did everyone get their battle t-shirt?
Well, you know.
Everyone here?
Yeah. That's kind of funny, right? The battle t-shirts. I'm trying to think, maybe Tom started Battle of Businesses just to make more money in his t-shirt business.
So I think there was this underground t-shirt company somewhere that nobody knew that Tom was running. But, you know, we did t-shirts for you name it, how many sports. Yeah, we did soccer. There was like Battle of the Businesses.
Well, yeah, it was just like, I was like, wait a minute. Battle of Businesses, and I can make more t-shirts.
So I think, what's this? We got company. That was an illusion, man. So we all know that the Y doesn't feel like it at the time. For real? Okay, so back to the band. Yeah. So
this list of events that Tom had that were just ridiculous.
Was he the one that was always in his spot, and then his shaving cream was always on his face, his underwear was sticking out of his nose hair. Oh my God, tell me about the nose hair, Tom.
I think somebody already called him homeless.
Remember that list?
Oh my God, the list.
Oh my God, that
Well,
list. Oh, the list of the battle events, Marilyn. Holy smokes.
All I know is whenever the Bar Association got good at an event, it got eliminated.
God, remember?
We would win the battle event, and then the next year it was gone. Gone. Eliminated.
So you remember like laser tag?
Laser tag. Well, we weren't good at that, but they never.
Yeah. Think of all Tom. What other events do you like?
Tom. He would put events in there thinking that we would be bad at them, and we would win. Tug of war. Jamestown Bar Association won tug of war. Who would have thought that?
There's about 100 events.
This year, axe throwing. Tom's like, axe throwing. Bar Association can't win that. Guess what?
That's why.
Bar Association won it.
So in all seriousness, guys, I'm Scott. This is Marilyn. We're not old. We're young at heart, but we just wanted to get together and appreciate Tom Anderson. He's taught us a lot about community. He's taught us a lot about creativity, leadership, how to manage, and then fun.
Oh, absolute fun.
Absolute fun. So we're just gonna borrow this drink, and Marilyn, here I've got some here, water. That works. So we're gonna do a toast to Tom Anderson. So everyone raise their glass. Cheers to Tom Anderson for his 34 years at the Y, fun, leadership, and you name it. And I know that Tom will not be a loner, and he'll be back to the Y, raising hell and making sure that everyone does their job. So cheers up to Tom Anderson.
He can't retire yet from the battle because I'm not retiring yet from the battle, so he's got to come back this year.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Scott, so much for that interesting performance. That was definitely something threw me for the loop there. Scott's going to clean that up there. We lost the A, but we're moving on. Out of here. Okay, so next up, some Lakewood YMCA pickleball players. We have Janet Calbrese and Len Kinner. Come on up here and let's talk about some pickleball.
Go Cows.
Give this one to you.
Good evening. Hey, pickleball pals.
make Rye a center of the community. He's impacted a lot of people's lives. A lot of young people look to Tom as a father figure. I look to him as an annoying younger brother. Sorry, older brother. Anyway, Tom brought a wonderful game or sport to the Y called pickleball. A bunch of us in spin class, hey Linda, Phoebe, thought we should play pickleball. Tom Anderson played pickleball. How hard could it be? Anyway, I found out that Tom was a very good pickleball player. I wanted to be like Tom. So I thought I should adopt some of his habits. And on my way every day to Y to play pickleball, I would stop at Don's car wash and pick up a Pepsi, a candy bar, and I was good to go. Well, our numbers grew and grew. So Tom decided to put on some pickleball clinics. He said, I want to help you guys up your game. And we all looked at each other and said, yeah, he wants to show off. Anyway, our first pickleball clinic, Tom walks in the room and he goes, guys, hey guys, you got to play up to the net. That's where the game is. You got to play up to the net. Okay, Tom. He says, I know it's scary because the balls are flying all over the place, but you got to play up to the net. So at the end of the clinic, he signaled to me to come over. Hey, Jan, come here. And I said, what's up, Tom? And he says, I'm really proud of you guys. You did really well. And I promise you, at the end of a couple of weeks, all those bruises will be gone.
So a couple of times after our pickleball group started playing our new sport, Tom called me into what I call the principal's office. He wanted to tell me he was glad that we had taken up pickleball instead of tennis because at our age, tennis would have been too difficult and we would have given up playing long ago. So just when we're starting to feel like kids again, running around and laughing on the pickleball court, he had to remind us of just how old we are. Thanks, Tom, you're a real pal. Now, if you happen to get a phone call from Tom, you might want to think twice about answering it. Here's what happened to me recently. One morning, I was getting ready to go to the Y and my phone rang. The number on the caller ID wasn't one that I recognized, so I almost didn't answer, figuring it was just some annoying person trying to sell me something. I decided to answer it anyways. Well, I was right. It was Tom Anderson calling to tell me that if I planned on signing up for the upcoming pickleball clinic, I needed to pay the fee that day. So as it turns out, it was someone trying to sell me something. So beware of phone calls from Tom Anderson. On a serious note, Tom, over the last 34 years at the Y, you've made a difference in many lives, including mine. You and I have had some personal conversations, and I thank you for the kindness and compassion you've shown me. Enjoy your retirement and congratulations on a job very well done.
All the pickleball players want to thank you for your encouragement and your support. We have a little, probably your last trophy you're going to get for pickleball, maybe not. And it's not for a pickleball champion, it's for a champion of pickleball players. You are our champion. So thank you so much. We have another little card too for you. Thank you for everything. We're going to miss you.
That was a great speech, both of you. Thank you so much. It was great. Who doesn't love pickleball? Except pretty much like everybody that's ever had to sit next to it for more than an hour because it's very annoying. The sound of pickleball is unfortunate for the sport, unfortunately. Okay, next up is Tom's longtime friend, Marlene Sandberg. A round of applause for Marlene. She's right up front here. And then sticker in the back and everybody else. I feel bad for the people in the back. They need to give out some pillows or something. No one can see. Here you go.
Well, I've known Tom for about 40 years. Oh boy. I've had the pleasure of playing every paddle and racket sport with him. He's tough. The latest, of course, is pickleball. Actually, in the beginning, he never really even thought it was a sport. He would say to me all the time, I don't know why these people play this sport, it's so stupid. And he said, I said, you know, forget about dinking. He was a banger, he just did not want to dink. He was a tennis player, that was the end of it. But eventually, Tom did come over to the dark side, and he did embrace it. In fact, the day before Tom had his stroke, it was a Friday, he called me on Thursday and said, you gotta get up here, we're playing against Mike Kay and this woman from Pittsburgh, we call her Pittsburgh Deb. And we must have played 15 games. He kept saying, one more. Mike wanted to keep playing because he couldn't beat us. And Tom finally said, you're never going to beat us, but we kept playing. So in Tom's mind, that day, we definitely made history. But the day after, I noticed his number was on my phone, and he called me. And he said, hey, I'm in the hospital, I had a stroke, but we beat the pants off that team. They didn't have a chance. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, are you kidding me? Like, you had a stroke? I was like, but that's just, talk about relentless, and he just, forget about the stroke, he just was so excited that we beat them. We creamed them in Tom's mind. Always a great competitor. So Tom, in honor of that, I do have a medal for you. I do have a medal for you, Tom, a first place medal from that day, with all the scores on the back. So I'll give that to you. Tom has referred to me to several people as the pickleball queen. And he has asked people if they, this last tournament we were in, he was asking people if they had a picture of me in their house. And I'm like, asking you that? Well, you know Tom, he just likes these things, whatever. So I'm like, well, that must be, he must really want a picture of me, so I actually have a poster-sized picture of myself. I signed it, Tom.
I want one.
And lastly, this is more on a personal friend note. We sit behind Tom in church every Saturday night. So for years, he's always kind of kept his head down like this, like below the top of the pew. And so for years, Tim and I are like, God, you know, he's really a devout, Christian. Praying all the time, and, just kind of, wow, I mean, he's quiet and everything. Well, come to find out, he was looking at sports scores. Insert your phone in, and people will never know Tom. It's been so great getting involved in all Tom's Y activities. By the way, Tom, I am still waiting for my commission on all the leagues and the people that I've sent your way. I brought to you. Just kidding. In all seriousness, I will wrap up by saying it has been a pleasure playing against you and with you. You're one of the finest athletes this area has ever seen, always creating new challenges for all. Actually, I truly believe you put tennis and pickleball on the map in Lakewood. Congrats on your retirement. Tommy boy, you are a true asset to this community, to the Y and its community. And we have a gift from the members and the enthusiasts for pickleball and tennis for you. So I'll give that to you.
Okay, great speech, Marlene. Thank you so much. A lot of pickleball stuff, so time to change it up here. So next up we have, they don't want me to introduce their names, they have a little special something prepared for you. So I want to introduce you to the gymnastics coaches. Now I was once a gymnast in a parallel universe. Get it? And here they are, here are the gymnastics coaches. No running, please. So are you Tom?
Yes. Hi everyone. Hi, how's it going? Thanks for being here today. Excuse me. All right. I just want to start off by saying and introducing myself, and I want to clarify again, since Tom still struggles with my name. It's Tom R. You know, half your name is and half or your name is and half my name, so I don't know why it's so hard. Been working for you for 8 years, but you know, a little difficult. Yeah. So I have one more person, Emily. Emily, get out here. We have a bunch of friends that I want you to do a cartwheel or something. Come on. She's pretty good, isn't she? Yep.
When someone finds out that I work for the Lakewood Y, their first response is, how is it working for Tom? Well, he did hire me, even though my dad was supposedly the bully of Lakewood, throwing his bike into the road with oncoming traffic. I did find out that was not true. He's a type of boss that he's not going to fire me for stealing his car and hiding it overnight, but probably wanted to fire me for not using his darn photo machine. And he's also the type of boss that accepts my son as his work grandson, even after Emmett drove his scooter into his door, making a hole in his office door. But one of the craziest memories I have is Tom's solution to the gymnastics roof. Wasn't built the best and had a lot of leakage. A lot of water bubbles would form in the insulation, and we had Mike Johnson bring in his BB gun, and had Mikey, there he is, bring in a kiddie pool. We line the kiddie pool under the water bubble, shoot it, and I'm just sitting at work like, oh my gosh, this is my work, and his idea actually, it worked. So as much work, trouble, and stress gymnastics has given to you, you know that you always had our back, and we wouldn't be where we are without you.
All right, let's give another round of applause for Tom on retiring. I still honestly don't know what Tom does. All I see him do is drink Pepsi and ride on the scooter. No, in all honesty, thank you, Tom, for your hard work and always being there for our gymnastics team. In case anyone forgot, we do have a great gymnastics program here at the Lakewood Y. Tom, I hope your retirement treats you well and you always find time to enjoy the Browns losing. Please don't stroke out on us again, but hopefully you dodge some sliced golf balls when you play golf. Sorry. But all jokes aside, we sincerely appreciate everything you have done for us at the Lakewood Y and our gymnastics program. I will miss our conversations about teaching and the feistiness our indoor soccer team brought to the Y during the Women's League. So, thank you again.
Thank you so much, girls. Emily, I was going to wear the same thing tonight. I'm so glad I did. It would have been so awkward. I would have ruined your surprise. Nice tutu. Like that word, tutu. Okay, next up, a YMCA soccer referee, Matt Dimas. Come on up here, Matt. Where is there? He is. We're down. We got two scooters, one photo. He still can get the name right. There you go, Matt. Nice one.
Everybody hear me all right? You in the back? Yeah. No? Yep, you might be the lucky one. Okay, Scott originally asked me to come up and give a presentation of all of Tom's accomplishments and his career objectives and all the great things he's done for Jamestown and the Y. I'm not that guy. So, instead, I'm going to just give you some stories about what Tom does that's maybe not sports related. I've worked with Tom for 32 years now, I think. Okay. That too. I worked for Tom for about 32 years, and mostly refereeing and to some small extent organizing his soccer leagues and tournaments and newspaper articles and things like that. And as you all know, Tom is a salesman. Okay, it was about, I've been doing it about, I don't know, 20 years, and about 8 or 9 years ago, Tom came to me and my partner at the time and said, you guys are doing a great job, you know, the program's growing, the number of teams are growing, everybody's happy. I'm going to name you co-commissioners, and you're the lead referee, and about 2 minutes later, the oh, by the way came. I need you to talk to the Post-Journal, I need a promotional piece, and pictures, and give them a good story, will you? So that's how that happened. Like everyone, Tom's gone through various phases in life. Some simple ones related to colors. Tom always picked out the colors for all the teams that were going to play soccer and Battle of Business and everything else. Well, Tom went through a blue phase. Okay, one year he had 5 different shades of light blue. And I'm going to tell you, high school kids, by the time they washed those shirts once, which usually came about week 6, they all look the same. Another phase, he went through a green phase. I think we're in it now. Okay? 3 or 4 shades of green that are indistinguishable from each other. So, we live with it. Some of Tom's phases are related to sports, okay? Baseball when he was young, basketball later, tennis was a huge part of his life, pickleball followed. Truly a multi-sport guy. There was even a rumor that he accidentally watched 2 minutes of soccer back in 2017. Truth be told, he actually went upstairs to watch tennis, and he got distracted. He doesn't really understand soccer. In baseball, if you kick a ball, it's an error. You bat, field, and throw with your hands. In basketball, you dribble, pass, shoot with your hands. Kick the ball, it's a foul. Soccer's the opposite. You kick the ball and can't use your hands. It's very confusing. He's getting it. He's also gone through various phases of what I'll call construction and interior design and development. His modernistic phase is best demonstrated by the tennis side of the building. Perfectly flat floors, sharply painted lines, well-maintained curtain walls, indirect LED lighting suspended from new fixtures, reflective paint, so everything is just modern and new and high visibility. Modern equipment for training. Dozens and dozens and dozens of tennis balls bought annually to support the program. Plush upholstered seating for spectators behind glass walls for premium viewing. First class. Contrast that with the arena side of the building. Plywood walls that wave when the wind blows. Safety netting held together with zip ties. 1970s era fluorescent bulb fixtures hung on rusty chains. It all started with a carpeted floor that probably took in more blood than a Red Cross blood drive. It was replaced with an interlocking floor a few years later. And it's now replaced with a new tile floor advertised as a futsal floor. It was originally from New Orleans. It was installed, used one weekend, they didn't like it, tore it out, and he got a screaming deal. And we're playing on it today. The crime scene tape on the floor seems to be a throwback to early Law and Order episodes, but it's not. The tape actually marks the spots where the roof leaks create puddles. We'll get back to the roof later. The spectator area, reminiscent of the Billy Bob Bar scene from the original Blues Brothers movie. You know, the netting, the chicken wire, the wood framing, the chain link fence, the pipe rails, the rowdy fans. It's all there. Holes in the netting are specifically designed to add some excitement for the spectators when the ball comes through. And kind of similar to that large tennis ball budget, every couple of years Tom asks me, do we need a new couple soccer balls? Banners and advertising even include a Vietnam-era Army recruiting poster. Who can find that today? It's been there forever. Let's call this his retro phase. The roof. A number of years ago, Tom and the Y invested in a new and badly needed roof. Tom shopped around, got quotes, selected a supplier, and made it happen. He was proud to announce that it even came with a lifetime guarantee. I'm sure it came at a competitive price. Turns out the guarantee was right. It leaks every year. And it has. Outside, that high-pitched roof is really a challenge, especially in the winter months.